listening to pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 95, Growing Human Brains. Today's episode has a title that is more extreme than we usually have. And the reason for that is that today's episode is about a piece of news that is exactly about this title. There is no embellishment being made. So, if we go straight to the piece of news, there is currently a Swiss company called Final Spark, who, in cooperation with some respectable universities, they're among, in America, University of Michigan, and in the UK, University of York, University of Bristol, and in Germany, the UK affiliated University of Leipzig, Lancaster University of Leipzig. And these are to name a few. There are more universities. So the company Final Spark, with their partners, are conducting research, they call it. So basically what they are doing is that they have extracted, I don't know how, but they have extracted human brain cells. Not animal brain cells, but human brain cells. And then they have cultivated them in a lab and created what they call organoids, which is a word to describe when scientists create tiny organs out of real organ tissue. So they create tiny human brains in a laboratory. And these human brains are the size of 0.5 millimeter. And I think they have like 16 of these tiny human brains. And then they hook up these human brains to electrodes. And then they run programming. I think they use this programming language called Python So they run programming through these human brains. And use the human brains as computer, like computers, like computer processors. And then they rename these human brains into what they call wetware computing, wetware wetware. And they have their reasons, their explicit reasons for why they are doing this. But we will not focus on their reasons in this episode, but instead we will stop at just stating the facts of what they are doing, and we will talk about how we can understand this, both using our framework of emotional skills, but also just as fellow people in these times, how we can understand this undertaking. The Polaroid that we are using today, the skill, the emotional skill that we are using today to understand this piece of news, is universal skill body. I have a brain, you have a brain. This piece of news is about us, whether we like it or not. And right now, there are people in this company and with their partners that are, in all seriousness, conducting experiments on human brains in laboratories. They are growing human brains. They are using human brains as their playthings. They are running programming through these brains, and they are renaming these brains into products, as they are things, as if they are things. And universal skill body is about that in order for us to understand our lives in a coherent and meaningful way, we need to be in touch with our bodies. We need to use our bodies. We need to live in a way that goes in line with what our bodies are about. Our bodies are our inheritance from generations and generations and generations of people before us. So our bodies is the accumulated effort and meaning of countless generations of people. So if we were to discard our bodies, or if we were to overrule them or pretend like they do not contain wisdom, that would be like throwing away countless generations worth of accumulated experience. Simply not very smart. And what does this piece of news tell us? It tells us that we live in a time when playing with human brains and using human brains as computers is deemed not only okay, but valid. That our path forward should also include playing with human brains. So this piece of news is not only about the company, Final Spark, it is also about the universities who contribute to the work. It is also about the culture in science. This company cannot just appear out of thin air. It appears within a culture, a scientific culture. It also says things about regulation and authorities, that this kind of extremely unethical research is being allowed. It also says a lot about that not many voices, and certainly no voices of formal power, are speaking against this research, against this unethical treatment of human brains. It says a lot about how confused our times are, and how confused our times are in the name of science and in the name of progress. And this piece of news we can choose to highlight because it carries great symbolic value. It is so absurd that this news even exists, that it shines light on a deeper culture within society today. That we are using human brains as computers, as playthings. It means that we are disregarding our bodies right now. It means that we are disregarding countless generations of experience. It means that we are like children running the show, and no adults are in the room. It shows that we are living in ahistorical times, times where we disregard our ancestors, we disregard deeper intuition, and we do not stop ourselves from doing existential experiments. last World War, the Second World War, people and companies also conducted existential, extremely unethical experiments. Great conflict, World War, seems to scare us to such a degree that some of us start conducting these existential, crazy experiments. And I am not sure if this will be stopped. Probably not. The unethical experiments of the Second World War was not really stopped at the time. Only in hindsight do we say that, wow, that was not good. But we will not do it right now. In today's episode, we dedicate some time to this, to just pause and recognize what is going on and recognize what times we are living in. We are living in times when we are feeling very confused about who we are, what our lives are supposed to be like, and we are very confused about the value of human life, the value of a human brain, the proper place of a human brain. There are no boundaries. Anything goes. We are pushing ahead very hard. And if you look up the topic of today, you will see that the people involved and people around projects like these, they always laugh a lot. And they laugh in a very specific manner. They do not laugh, from deep within themselves. It's not the kind of, deep abdomen laugh. It's more of a fleeting, kind of confused laughter. It's a very specific kind of laughter. And I think this kind of laughter is something we can look for going forward. Is a person laughing in this kind of weird way? Or is the person laughing from deep within with their body in it? It comes down to our bodies. And if we choose to act in accordance to our bodies, the generations and generations of accumulated experience, or if we choose to behave like children and play with anything and everything in grotesque ways. This piece of news is highly disturbing. It's supposed to be disturbing, and we are supposed to be disturbed by it. It's a very good reaction to be disturbed by it. It is our bodies and the experience in our bodies that is being disturbed, to let us know that something is not right here, or maybe a lot of things is not right here. So in this episode you have heard me stumble a lot. You can hear that I am uncomfortable talking about this subject, and that is a good thing. Sometimes we are supposed to be uncomfortable. When something is bad enough, we get uncomfortable. That is wisdom. That is accumulated experience in our bodies. So allow yourself to be uncomfortable about this piece of news. That's a good thing. It means that you are in touch with your body, that you are in touch with your intuition, your inheritance from generations past. It's a good thing. That's it for today. Thank you.